upper respiratory tract. We will not repeat them because of scarcity of the time. So we'll discuss directly the neoplastic disorders of upper respiratory tract. It includes the nose, sinuses, okay, larynx, everything we will include in this. The first thing which we will discuss, these are the objectives, so that you are also clear in your minds what you are going to see. So tumors of nose, sinuses, nasopharynx, we will see the causes, risk factors as well as the morphology. Then tumors of the larynx, then what are the different predisposing factors for these tumors, what are the vocal cord nodules, everything will be included inshallah. It will be short.
Okay.
It will not be too much. You know the regions of pharynx.
Yes.
Nasopharynx, oropharynx and laryngopharynx. Clear? So different parts of the pharynx will be lined by different types of epithelium. Clear?
Yes.
So you at some places you have which type of epithelium?
Stratified
Stratified squamous epithelium. At other places you have good respiratory epithelium. This is the larynx. You have the glottis, where you find the vocal cords. Below that there is subglottis. Above that supraglottis. Okay, and this is the epiglottis, which covers the larynx when you eat the food. Is it clear? So 2 slides are finished.
Okay.
So it's not 23. It's only 20. One is Dr. Farooq here.
Yes.
One is Farooq.
Yes.
Four.
Another is objectives. 3, 4. So tumors of nose, sinuses and nasopharynx. There is a huge list. But we try to contract it.
Okay.
So the important ones are, you can divide them into one, epithelial tumors and second, mesenchymal tumors. Okay? These are infrequent. These are not much frequent. These tumors are not frequent, but they include both epithelial as well as mesenchymal tumors. In the epithelial tumors, in the benign one, the most common is papilloma. But you can find other tumors also. And there is a huge list, but we include only pleomorphic adenoma, which is, sometimes found in these locations. So papilloma is the most common, pleomorphic adenoma is the second one. In the malignant, you find squamous cell carcinomas. Okay? In the squamous cell, you have keratinizing squamous cell carcinoma, non-keratinizing, undifferentiated carcinomas, and you can also find adenocarcinoma here. Okay? So you have the squamous lining. From the squamous lining, you will get squamous cell carcinomas, which may be keratinizing, which may be non-keratinizing, or may be undifferentiated. They have seen that even this undifferentiated carcinoma is somehow derived from the squamous cells. Okay? And you have the respiratory epithelium lining also. So you can have glandular carcinoma, adenocarcinoma also in this case. And one more carcinoma which is peculiar here, which can be found in the neuroblastoma. Because why neuroblastoma? You have neuroendocrine cells. So from that, or neuroectodermal cells, from those cells you can find this sort of carcinoma arising, which is a neuroblastoma. Among the mesenchymal tumors, again you can have fibroma, you can have leiomyoma, many tumors, lipomas, and even the malignant counterparts. But these are rare. The common one and the most common is the angiofibroma. It has clinical importance also. So we will discuss that. Yes. Yes. Nose, sinuses and nasopharynx. In total we are calling this. Within the nose, not much common. You can find here in these areas, in these areas, upper part of the face, basal cell carcinoma, upper part of the face. So what we are talking basically about inside of the nose. So inside of the nose, we are not much concerned about basal cell or melanoma or squamous cell. When we talk about the upper part of the face, then we say basal cell carcinoma, as you are saying. The lower part, squamous cell carcinoma. Basal cell carcinoma is the most common malignant cell tumor. Is it clear? Most common malignant cell tumor. And the most common location is upper part of the face. But here, if we have to take all the things together, we are taking the nose, the sinuses, as well as the nasopharynx. Okay? So that's why we do not include those things in this. Is it clear?
Yes.
What's the most one?
Huh?
What's the most one?
Here? Among the benign papilloma, among the malignant, we will see which among the three, keratinizing, non-keratinizing, or undifferentiated, which is the most common. Okay, we will see. Among the mesenchymal, angiofibro. So, among the papillomas, as we know, sinonasal. We call them as sinonasal, including the sinuses, nasopharynx, as well as the nose. So call them the name sinus, nasal, sinonasal papillomas. As I have already told you that there can be sometimes found squamous lining, sometimes we can have respiratory lining, pseudostratified columnar epithelium, CD8. So it can be composed of both squamous as well as the columnar lining. So you can find sometimes squamous papillomas, sometimes papilloma which is lined by the columnar epithelium. Okay? And one important association is there, which is human papilloma virus, 6 and 11. What are these types basically?
Just rest.
Low risk types, very good. What are the high risk types?
16.
16 and 18, very good. So these are the low risk types, and low risk types are most of the times associated with benign lesions, which are papillomas. High risk type associated with squamous cell carcinomas and adenocarcinomas. Okay, so they are the high risk lesions. And three forms are common. One is the septal, which is the most common of the papillomas. Another is inverted, another is cylindrical. Okay, depending upon the shape, depending upon the location. Septal is the most common. Inverted is most important biologically. We will discuss why. And another is cylindrical. So inverted papillomas, what is the importance? Papilloma we call papilloma most of the time is, it means exophytic, growing outside, isn't it? Anybody has market?
There is here mark. There is mark.
Yeah. So when we say papilloma, so it comes to your mind like this, isn't it? It comes like this. This is the papilloma, exophytic. So this is exophytic, growing outside. Most of the time it is like this, exophytic. But now what happens? And these are basically finger-like projections. Papillomas are basically finger-like projections. Every finger-like projection will be having a fibrovascular core lined by the epithelium. Fibrovascular core lined by the epithelium. Now what do you mean by inverted? In inverted, what happens? Suppose this is the, it instead of going out, it grows inside. It grows into the mucosa. So this is papillomatous proliferation of the squamous epithelium extending into the mucosa. So it is locally aggressive because it has the capacity to go in. It is locally aggressive, and if you remove it, it has a high rate of recurrence. It will recur, and there can be serious complications, like it can invade the orbit, it can invade the cranial cavity, because of the fact that it has the capacity to invade, to grow inside. So it can invade the orbit or cranial wall, and even malignant transformation can be found in 10% of the cases. So this is the importance of inverted papillomas. They can grow inside, they can go into the cranial cavity or into the orbit, having a high rate of recurrence after the surgery, and they can even transform into malignancies. As such, it is benign, but some of the benign neoplasms have, they can transform into malignancies later on with time. So this is one of them.
But how can you know what there is invasion?
This is not invasion. It is not invading basically. It is not breaking the basement membrane. It is growing as such, but without breaking of the. When you will see it, it will be like this. So it is not breaking the basement, but it will grow inside. It will grow without breaking the basement. When it breaks, it is a malignant transformation. Clear? It is a malignancy. This is the exophytic. It grows outside. So finger-like projection growing outside, towards out. So here it grows inside, goes into the mucosa. This is the mucosa. From here, it grows inside. It can go very deep. That's why we say sometimes it can go into the nasal, this orbital cavity, and even the cranial vault. So sinonasal papillomas can be lined by squamous epithelium or columnar epithelium. Okay. 6 and 11 HPV have been found in them. 3 types are there: inverted, cylindrical, and exophytic. Exophytic are the most common, or septal we also call them. And inverted means they grow inside. They have high rate of recurrence and malignant transformation in 10% of the cases. So if you, most of the lectures, I take something from the internet also, from authentic websites, and latest Robbins edition, or maybe 8th or 9th at the most. So some things we may include which are only in the 9th edition, the latest edition, like the latest figures. So you will, if you compare it with the 8th, it will be, discrepancy. Huh? The things will be changed because 9th edition we have different things, the latest. It can even give, 5-year survival rate will be different from the 8th edition because of improvement in the therapies. Huh? So if you see it, there are discrepancies, see both the editions. Huh? But I try to consult more on the 9th edition. So what you find my lectures in the last year, maybe somewhat they are changed this year. Huh? So it can happen. So nasopharyngeal angiofibroma. So that was the benign one. Papillomas. Is it clear?
Yes.
Papilloma is benign. Inverted papillomas no doubt have a chances of undergoing the malignancy. 10% chances of undergoing malignant transformation. Among the mesenchymal, what is the benign? Angiofibroma. From the name, angiofibroma. So it means it will have fibrous tissue and blood vessels. Clear? What is the importance? It is a highly vascular tumor and especially present in the adolescent males. Adolescent males. Why? It is not genetic, basically, something to do with the hormones. Something to do with the hormonal changes. Okay? So mostly found in adolescent males, and it can lead. What is the importance here? It is very vascular, and if the person is undergoing surgery, it can lead to extensive hemorrhage. So extensive bleeding can be there during the surgery, and it can be fatal in 9% of the cases. Although it is benign, but it can be fatal. It can cause death in 9%. These are the latest figures from the Robbins. So figures will go on exactly 9 because it is written there 9. So fatal in 9% of the cases. Why? Because of hemorrhage during the surgery, one cause. Another is intracranial extension. It can also extend into the cranium. So this is nasopharyngeal angiofibroma. Can you see the blood vessels here? These are blood vessels. And the tissue surrounding it all fibrous tissue. Fibroblasts along with the collagen. So this is nasopharyngeal angiofibroma because it is rich in blood vessels, so it can bleed profusely during surgery. So two benign tumors, papilloma and angiofibromas. Now coming to the malignant ones. Among the malignant, the most common are the squamous cell carcinomas or undifferentiated carcinomas. But before that, we will discuss one more malignancy. We call neuroblastoma. Olfactory neuroblastoma. Okay? It is uncommon, but highly malignant. Highly malignant. Highly malignant tumor, but uncommon. And it is composed of small round cells, okay, forming nests, lobular nests. So small round cells forming lobular nests which may be surrounded by the vascularized connective tissue. So in the body we have many tumors which are composed of small round cells. Okay. So whenever you see a small round cell tumor, there is a differential diagnosis. 5, 6 things will come into your mind. Huh? Small round cell tumors like small lymphocytic lymphomas. Huh? They are small cells, isn't it? Neuroblastomas, small cells. Wilms tumor, they can be composed of small cells. And there are many others also. There are many others also. So these are composed of small round cells forming lobular nests which are surrounded by vascularized connective tissue. Where from they arise? In these areas, we have neuroectodermal olfactory cells. Isn't it? We have the neuroectodermal. From these cells, they can arise. If there is something wrong with these cells, this type of tumor will arise. And differential diagnosis includes all small round cell tumors. Clear? All small round cell tumors. How you will diagnose this? There are many ways of diagnosis. One is electron microscopy. In the electron microscopy, in the cells you will find secretory granules. One. Immunohistochemical, because this might not be available everywhere, so we go for immunohistochemical markers. These are the 3 markers which will be there. Neuron-specific enolase, S100 protein and chromogranin. These are the 3 markers. Chromogranin, S100 protein and neuron-specific enolase. And what is the... Because they are highly malignant, so they can metastasize widely. They can metastasize widely. 5-year survival rate is up to 40 to 90%. Although they are metastasizing also, but why the survival rate is good, isn't it? 40 to 90% is high. Why? Anybody?
Because only small cells.
As it was makes of response to therapy.
Very good, very good, very nice. Because most of the highly malignant tumors, they will respond very quickly to the chemotherapy. Because chemotherapy acts on the dividing cells, isn't it? So it will respond, This is the reason. Good. So olfactory neuroblastoma arising from neuroectodermal cells. It will have small round cells, and we will diagnose it by mostly immunohistochemical markers, NSC, chromogranin and S100 protein. This is small cells running in sheets or nests forming, and surrounded by somewhere you will have some fibrous tissue. We will show you in the lab, inshallah. Now comes the nasopharyngeal carcinoma. Nasopharyngeal carcinoma is important one, because at some places of the world it is found quite commonly. 3 factors influence it. One is the hereditary, genetic makeup of the individual. Another is age. In some areas it may be found more in children, like in Africa, more in children. But in adults, in China it is more common. So in Africa, more common in children. In China, more common in adults. Then third thing is infection with the EBV. It is also important. Nasopharyngeal carcinoma, EBV is associated with other things also.
Infection, small lymph nodes.
Very good. Hairy leukoplakia, okay. Nasopharyngeal carcinoma, okay. Which lymphoma? Good. Burkitt lymphoma, very good. So how many, many things. Huh? So good. So EBV infects the host by binding to the epithelium. Okay. From the epithelium, then it infects the B lymphocytes also. This is how it goes. Huh? It can cause transformation of the B lymphocytes, leading to Burkitt lymphoma, as you might be seeing. Huh? Or it can transform the epithelial cell. When it transforms the B cells, Burkitt lymphoma will be formed. Okay. When it transforms, causes malignant changes in the epithelial cell, it will lead to the formation of nasopharyngeal carcinoma. Is it clear?
Again,
The person gets infected, EBV attaches to the nasopharyngeal epithelium. From the epithelium, it infects again the lymphocytes. So in the epithelium, because the genome, it has a genome which can cause transcription of many factors. It secretes many proteins which can cause activation of the transcription factors. So transcription factors, once activated, they may be activated lifelong. So if they are activated in a cell lifelong, so what will we get? It will result in continuous proliferation of the cells. This is how it occurs. So it can transform the B lymphocytes, cause malignant changes in the B lymphocyte or even the epithelial cells. When it infects the epithelial cells and causes their transformation, it will result in nasopharyngeal carcinoma. When it infects the B cells, causes their transformation, Burkitt lymphoma. Okay? So this is how it happens. And why we say this? Because EBV genome is found in all nasopharyngeal carcinomas. Clear? All the nasopharyngeal carcinomas. So it has a definite role. Okay? Now etiology, what is the etiology then? EBV infection, the most important. EBV infection. How EBV causes this? I have not included the diagram basically. Because you, I think you have undergone through it in hemanemium. Huh? So there was, LMP1, LMP2, how it affects the transcription. Huh? I have included the diagram. You can refer back to that. So EBV infection is the most common, and what you are eating. Diets which are high in nitrosamines, okay, like fermented foods and salted fish. These have a role. Smoking, everything. Smoking kills you. Huh? Smoking and chemical fumes. All these things which are related here, which you are eating, which you are inhaling, they have some role. And 3 histological variants are there. Keratinizing squamous cell carcinoma, non-keratinizing squamous cell carcinoma, and undifferentiated carcinoma. Undifferentiated. This is the most common and most closely linked with EBV. Most common and most close linked with the EBV. No, we will not discuss about the keratinizing. Keratinizing squamous cell carcinomas, you will have keratin formation, keratin pearls, squamous cells in the center, keratin pearl. Non-keratinizing, you will have squamous cells without keratin. Clear? So we will not discuss them because every time we discuss these, what is keratinizing, what is non-keratinizing, we will discuss the undifferentiated carcinoma. Undifferentiated carcinoma, it is basically the basaloid variant. We call it basaloid variant. Okay? It is characterized by the presence of large epithelial cells, big epithelial cells, having indistinct cell borders. Indistinct cell borders. So you will see as if the cytoplasm of one cell is merging into another. So this is syncytium. This is syncytium. The cells are there. Normally you will find cells like this. Huh? You can see the cell membranes. They are separated. Here the cytoplasm merges. So 2 cells as if one. So here is one more cell, another cell. So all the cells will be like one in a syncytium. Many nuclei you can see. Huh? So this is called syncytial growth. Large cells having indistinct cell borders. So syncytial growth. And these cells will have prominent eosinophilic nucleoli also. And in between these syncytial growths, you will find lymphocytes. So this is why initially it was known as lymphoepithelioma. Lymphoepithelioma. Initially. Because of the lymphocytes and because of the epithelial cells. But it is a misnomer. Because this is a carcinoma. Oma you cannot use here. It is not a benign. Huh? It is not benign. So this is a carcinoma. Now, how you will detect it? Nasopharyngeal carcinoma, if you want to detect the EBV, you can detect the EBV virus. Its protein you can detect, which is the LMP1, which is most important. So you can detect the LMP protein 1 in immunohistochemistry. Or you can even detect the EBV RNA, which is EBER1, EBER1. EBER1 by in situ hybridization. So 2 things are there. Either you will detect the EBV RNA or you will detect the EBV protein, LMP1. And these are the 2 methods, in situ hybridization or immunohistochemistry. How does it spread? It can spread locally, go into the lymph nodes and go for the metastasis. 5-year survival rate is 50%, but it is radiosensitive. It responds to the radiotherapy. This is the diagram. Can you see this portion? Whole portion? So it is as if it is in a syncytium. The cells are merging into one another. Cells are large. These are big. And here, this portion is only lymphocytes. Mostly lymphocytes. Okay? This. So compare it with this. These are big cells. growing in a syncytium, and these are lymphocytes here in this portion. Here, what is this?
Is it fish?
What is this? What is this? Syncytium. This whole is syncytium. This whole is syncytium. This is one cell, one cell. These are all cells which are fused with each other. But what is these two? These two are mitosis, abnormal mitosis, atypical mitotic. These. Can you see like this? These are mitotic abnormal fiber. What is this? Multinucleated giant cell. The nuclei are fused. So this is a giant cell. 2-3 nuclei fused, forming a giant cell, big cell. Then that. So mitosis and a giant cell. So this is nasopharyngeal carcinoma. Now we will discuss the papillomas, sinonasal papillomas, nasopharyngeal angiofibroma, olfactory neuroblastoma in the malignant, and also the nasopharyngeal carcinoma. The most common is the undifferentiated variety. Okay. Now here comes now the laryngeal tumors. Again, you divide into epithelial and mesenchymal tumors. So not to confuse you, I have kept it to the minimum. Benign, again you will have squamous cell papilloma, single. And papillomatosis, more than one papilloma. And pleomorphic adenoma, same. So papilloma and pleomorphic, same, like the nasopharyngeal. Malignant also, carcinoma in situ, keratinizing squamous cell carcinoma, non-keratinizing, there also. Adeno, there also. Here, neuroendocrine is there, not the undifferentiated, neuroendocrine. So this is the classification. Now comes the discussion of papilloma, laryngeal carcinoma, and vocal nodules. Papillomas are basically benign neoplasms. Nodule is not, we cannot say nodule is a neoplasm. Nodule is not a neoplasm. Clear? It is a nodule, it is not a neoplasm. So vocal cord nodules, what are these? These are smooth, rounded. Sessile or pedunculated protrusions, less than 0.5 centimeters. Okay? Can you see here? Okay, this is the vocal cord nodule. Why it happens? It can happen in the singers, in the heavy smokers, because of chronic irritation of the larynx. Okay, chronic irritation or abuse. We call it abuse. You know, repeatedly you are using, like even when I had some infection, so my larynx was not improving. I was not able to speak properly. I was thinking maybe nodules are there, maybe not, because you have to speak and speak and speak. So, Alhamdulillah, AC is not working, otherwise I have to raise my voice. So it will make it worse. So these are the laryngeal nodules. So these are also known as singer's nodes. Singer's nodes. In the singers,
Yes.
they use their voice too often, so it can result in these. So the best thing here is, if a person is having vocal nodules, is to give voice rest. Rest to the voice. Don't speak. So if it happens in females, it is very difficult. Because females cannot stop talking. They have to talk. So what is the composition? If you cut it, you will see this. There is a edematous fibrovascular tissue. Fibrous tissue, somewhat edema, and here you will find vessels lined by squamous epithelium. Simple. Lined by squamous epithelium. So composed of fibrous tissue covered by stratified squamous epithelium. But these are most of the times less than 0.5 centimeters. Less than 0.5 centimeters. You know the word sessile and pedunculated.
Yes.
Clear?
Yes, we discussed.
Beside,
Yeah.
Pedunculated.
rising with
Good, good. Sessile is directly attached, and
But
pedunculated will have a peduncle or a stalk
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
through which it is attached to the mucosa.
So this is just circular information.
Yeah, this is only due to chronic irritation. So if you give voice rest, the person stops smoking, so it will subside also. But you have the other drugs, you can give the drugs also. Drugs also doctor can prescribe for this, like anti-inflammatory drugs he can give, or some inhalations. Inhalations also the person can take, but the best thing is to give the voice rest. Now the laryngeal papilloma, that was a nodule, vocal cord nodules occurring in singers and heavy smokers. Now the laryngeal papillomas, usually these are single in adults. If they occur in adults, one papilloma you will find, okay? But if it occurs in children, they will be multiple. This is also known as recurrent respiratory papillomatosis, RRP. Recurrent respiratory papillomatosis, RRP. It is again caused by HPV 6 and 11. So benign lesions of the larynx, nasopharynx, that is the papillomas, you will find in the 6 and 11, low risk type of HPV in both. The most likely cause in children. Why in children we have multiple, papillomas, recurrent respiratory? It is believed to be the vertical transmission. Vertical, vertical transmission, horizontal from the mother. Vertical transmission from the mother. So here comes the role of HPV vaccine. If you have given the vaccine, less chances of transmission from the mother to the fetus. So grossly, what you will find? Soft raspberry. You might have eaten raspberry. Berries. There is one variety, raspberry. So raspberry like excrescence about 1 centimeter. So it is somewhat bigger than the nodule. Vocal nodes, so it is bigger than them. So 1 centimeter in diameter. Histologically, again, every papilloma you will see, it will have finger-like projections. It is like this. Every papilloma. Each finger-like projection will be having. This is the epithelium. This is squamous epithelium. So this is a finger. In the center you will have vascular connective tissue. So it has a squamous lining, finger-like projections. Each projection will be having fibrovascular core lined by the stratified squamous epithelium. This is laryngeal papilloma. The malignant transformation is rare, but it can recur. If you remove it, it can recur. And if it occurs in the children, they may spontaneously regress at the time of puberty also. Spontaneous regression at the time of puberty. And this is, multiple in the children, 1, 2, 3. So many papillomas are here. This is, finger-like projections lined by stratified squamous epithelium. The last one is carcinoma of larynx. Important, 2% of all the cancers is carcinoma of the larynx. Most common in men, 7:1 ratio. Then there is a definite sequence. Like we have the dysplasia sequence, Metaplasia, dysplasia, carcinoma in situ, carcinoma sequence. Okay. But there is a hyperplasia sequence also. Hyperplasia, carcinoma sequence. Hyperplasia converting into atypical hyperplasia. Atypical going into dysplasia. Followed by carcinoma in situ, followed by invasive carcinoma. Okay. So this is the sequence. Hyperplasia, atypical, dysplasia, carcinoma in situ and invasive. And it occurs mostly after the age of 40 years. What is the etiology? Again, Dukhan. Cigarette smoking. It is the most important in the positive factors. Second, alcohol. Both haram. They are not makruh, they are haram. Total haram. So smoking and alcohol, God wants to save you, but we want to kill ourselves. Isn't it? He wants to save you, He wants to give you Jannah. He wants to help you everywhere, but we don't want to help ourselves. Isn't it? Just think about it. This is very important. He gives you everything, tells you everything, still. He tells you this is bad, don't do it. But you will do. Shaitan comes. And no problem, do it. Once it is okay. He is doing, you also do it. So smoking and alcohol, and you have the chemicals like asbestos, radiations can also cause it. HPV sequences have been found in 15% of the cases. HPV sequences also. And some nutritional factors. Because Nutrition goes like this. Huh? So even the nutritional factors can be there. But the most important are smoking and alcohol.
What is asbestos? Asbestos.
This is respiratory, or you will come to know it. Asbestosis. Asbestos industry is there. It is used in the industries like silica, asbestos. So the person can have silicosis or asbestosis if he is working in those industries. Huh? So those people will have more chances of this. That will come in the, your, many lectures. We will take it, inshallah. Silicosis, asbestosis, complete lectures are there. What is the morphology? Grossly. If it is an in situ carcinoma, it will be like pearly grey plaques, wrinkled plaques, like plaques. Huh? Later on, as it grows, it will be ulcerating and fungating. Okay? Ulcerating and fungating. Microscopically, 95% of the carcinomas are squamous cell carcinomas. And most of these are keratinizing. Okay? 95% squamous cell, mostly keratinizing, well to moderately differentiated squamous cell carcinoma. And non-keratinizing may also be seen, but these are very less as compared to the keratinizing ones. And rarely you can find the adenocarcinomas also. So laryngeal carcinoma is mostly keratinizing squamous cell carcinomas. So this is the picture. So exophytic growth, almost fungating growth, exophytic, and this is the picture. This is not clear. This is the problem. These are squamous cells which are growing. This is non-keratinizing. This one is keratinizing. Can you see the keratin here? Because I can't see properly. So this is keratin. Keratin formation in the center of the pulse. This. Last slide is clinical features. How the patient will come. First thing is persistent hoarseness of voice. Change in the voice. So if somebody has change in the voice, he should consult the doctor. Persistent hoarseness of voice, one. Second is pain in this area. Then is dysphagia, difficulty in swallowing, and hemoptysis also sometimes. We have three types of tumors. Glottic tumor in the vocal cords. Glottic tumors 60 to 75%. So most common are the glottic tumors, 60 to 75%. These are mostly confined to the larynx at the time of diagnosis. Because if it involves the vocal cord, the person will quickly come to you, isn't it? So it is involved in, when he talks, vocal cords are involved. If there is something wrong with the vocal cords, he will immediately come to you. So mostly confined to the larynx at the time of diagnosis. Because of the patient quickly coming to you, you will diagnose it quickly, and most of the time they are confined to the larynx. And develop symptoms early, there is less lymphatic supply. That is why they don't spread. So glottic area has less lymphatic supply, that is why it will not spread much. So it will develop symptoms early. This is the cause for early diagnosis of these lesions. Supraglottic, 25 to 40% of the cases. 1/3 of these metastasize to the lymph nodes, because this area, supraglottic area, has a rich lymphatic supply. That is why they will go to the lymph nodes. And subglottic tumors are very less than 5%. And most of the time they present as advanced disease because they may not be detected. The patient may be symptomless. Many of the cancers, they are not detected in time because of, the patient may not be having symptoms. So the patient getting a symptom is very good for a cancer patient because of the early detection of these tumors. So subglottic are less common and present as advanced disease, and many patients can be cured. If they present in an early stage, you will do the surgery, he will be cured. But 1/3 may die of the disease also. 1/3 of the patients. And usual cause of death, in cancers, metastasis, cachexia, infections, this is the usual cause of death. If you have any questions, you can ask.
Thank you.